Good morning. Want to say thanks for coming in a little earlier today. We have our groundbreaking of the new training center at 10. So I know several of us have been talking throughout the week, but I wanted to meet with all media today because I understand the interest in the public swatting case. And this tragedy has affected many people and concerned community members who are trying to make sense out of this senseless act. I understand too the media's professional obligation to continue reporting on this serious news story. The media's and public's interest in this tragedy is one reason why we've held previous news conferences, provided additional information, and even released some video of the incident. And I want to stress that we have great sympathy for the victims and others that are affected by the reckless behavior of a few that set the stage for this tragedy to occur. And we are so sorry that this ended in a senseless death. Out of respect for laws and policies and our partnering agencies, we can't really comment further on the investigation. But I'm going to take a couple questions today. I also want to say that at the conclusion of the criminal investigation, we will also conduct a thorough review of the incident and do everything we can to prevent tragedies like this from happening again. So I can answer a few questions that are appropriate if you'd like. And again, want to remind people at 10 today we're going to be at the training center for the ribbon cutting.
Chief, can you talk about why you decided to release those 7 seconds of the body cam video and why that specific officer's body camera?
Yeah, the video that was released gave the most view of what occurred. The other footage doesn't show that, what is seen. Other people are behind cover or at locations where nothing can be seen.
Was every officer there wearing a body camera?
No, there was other officers from other agencies that didn't have them.
I don't know if you can talk about this or not, but we heard that there may be 2 other people involved in what led officers to go to that home. Can you speak to that at all?
Yeah, I can't say there's other people that are involved that are being interviewed as part of this case.
Anybody else arrested?
Not at this time. Hi, Lily. We're just taking some questions on the swatting case, if you have any that you'd...
We wanted to know, obviously yesterday the mayor spoke out. This situation is something that is very heavy on all of you.
Yes.
Can you please address that one more time?
Yeah. Well, I mean, police are here to protect and serve, and, trust with the community is critical. And in cases of use of force, and particularly officer-involved shootings, it shakes everybody involved. And this is a terrible tragedy, not only obviously for the family, that will forever impact them, but also the community as well as police staff that will carry this burden for the rest of their lives as well.
Will we be able to get the names eventually of the officers involved, officer involved?
Yeah, so it's important to know that the department has a long history of not releasing names of officers involved in shootings. Any change in that practice requires negotiation with a labor contract, and will have to be negotiated if that's the case, or a state law change would trump that.
What changes are being implemented since this has happened? I know it's only been a week.
Yeah.
What changes have happened?
Well, it has only been a week, right? But I mentioned that at the conclusion of the criminal investigation, a thorough review will be done of everything that occurred, and in an attempt to learn and see if we can do things in the future that could prevent something like this from happening ever again.
Do you plan to release any more video?
Not at this time.
You talk a little bit about any time you guys are involved in an officer-involved shooting. This has to be really taxing, not only on the officer, but the entire department.
It is. Keep in mind, there's been past studies that show, upwards of 60% of officers leave the profession within 5 years that have been involved in an officer-involved shooting. So it is, and having been involved in with officers who have had to make that decision, it changes them for the rest of their lives. And what I see is they're not often not the same person that they were before this incident as they are after.
How much of an impact does it have on not just the officer that fires the shots, but the ones that are around him? I mean, because they are there and they see it too.
Yeah, well, you know, and I don't want to take anything away. I mean, obviously, you know, my concerns are with our officers, but also the family, right? But we recognize in officers that there is accumulation of stress that they see throughout their career, of critical incidents of death, and just situations that people really aren't meant to see and be a part of, and that it takes a big toll on officers. And it, you know, we're recognizing that more than ever in our field, and the need for us to give them the psychological care to ensure that they remain healthy.
We'll take a couple more questions.
Obviously, there were 2 officer-involved shootings last week. Will you guys be reviewing all of that in regards to the different types of use of force in 2 different situations?
Right. Well, there was 3. You got to remember, on Wednesday we had the one where the individual was shooting at the officers. We always review anytime an officer uses a firearm thoroughly, and in many different ways. And there is always an internal review, as well as the DA also reviews those for compliance with the law. So each of those are also being reviewed criminally and internally to ensure policy, the actions were consistent with policies. Go ahead, Devin.
So you mentioned that some other people were being talked to in regards to this case, but we also know, obviously, that you've talked to the DA, maybe specifically about Tyler Barris. Can you just talk about where the investigation lies as far as what you guys are doing, what the DA is doing, kind of where we are?
Yeah, right now it's a lot of follow-up, and I can't get into specifics, but there are other people involved, and you know, there's a lot of, this is a serious case that has wide-ranging implications. You know, there also is not clear laws for this type of activity as well, which adds to the difficulties of it. You know, because of the complexities of the online activity that took place, that also takes more time. So it is a complex case.
Is it safe to say Wichita police are still investigating, or is your investigation?
No, it is still an active investigation, yes.